Hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Happy New Year. Wendy, Happy New Year to you. Are you still in Wyoming? Or have you gone back home yet? Feliz Año Nuevo from Mexico. Roxy, welcome, welcome. Happy New Year to you. Karen, Happy New Year. Oh wow, Wendy, that's amazing. Wonderful. So the live streams will be a little bit later in your day than usual when you're in Pacific time. So, oh, interesting, Karen. Surprise snow. Good morning, Gina. Happy New Year. I wonder if it's cold there, because when I was there a few weeks ago, it was unexpectedly quite cold, which wasn't my expectation. Excuse me. Yeah, so how many of you celebrated in a traditional way by going out, by seeing fireworks, by maybe drinking or partying? How many of you celebrated in a more quiet way? How many of you were asleep before midnight? Ooh, cold and raining. Hi, Donna. Happy New Year. Melinda, Happy New Year. Cleansing snow, Karen. Yes, snow can be very cleansing. Quiet. Wendy asleep by 9 p.m. I've definitely had years like that. Our first live stream together in 2026. Super exciting. I've been sending messages to some of my life coaching clients and just people in my world that have come into my heart or crossed my mind. And I want to wish all of you the same, of having a year in which it's beyond dreams, beyond possibility. You can't fathom what's coming in 2026 that's going to be wonderful, that's going to be outside of the known, that's going to be totally unknown for you. Excitement, possibility, an abundance of peace, freedom, joy, love, connection, fun, play, creativity, beyond for you. That's my wish. Welcome, Geraldine. Sandy, welcome back. Wonderful. So I got to celebrate with some people in my 12-step community. Had a wonderful gathering. And, you know, I've lived this nomadic life since 2013, and you know, I've been also a remote worker since then as well, for the past 5 years in my own business, and before that having a corporate job, and it's all been on the computer. So for me, having in-person connections is so valuable. And so it was so wonderful to have that. I got to spend time with my sponsor. I have 2 sponsors in 2 different 12-step programs. One of them is here locally, which is such a gift. And then I got to spend time with a good friend who is from this town. And so they're Mexican, and I got to have dinner with their family before midnight. And it was so wonderful just to be a part of that experience. So going from, the expat 12-step community into a very local experience. And what was so interesting is like this person was basically born and grew up in the house that we went to. Like his mother and sisters, they still live in the same house. They've never left. And that's just so foreign to me as somebody that's lived as a nomad for the past 12 years and just always been a nomad. So it was really special and wonderful to share that. And then I went to see fireworks on the lake at midnight. So it was a wonderful start to the year, end of the 1 year, start to the other. So Donna, wonderful, 12 years on the 18th. There's a number of us in recovery here in my community and the Insight Timer community at large. And so this was my 2025. This was my 26th sober and clean New Year's. And just thank God it's not even on my radar as a temptation. It was funny because my friend, not the 12-step people, but my Mexican friend, was showing me this eggnog. And I mean, it was in Spanish, and I was like, I think this is eggnog and it has alcohol. And he's like, yeah, do you want some? I was like, no thanks. He's like, oh my gosh, I forgot you don't drink. I'm like, no, it's totally fine. But I love and I'm so grateful that it's just not even an option. It's not even a temptation. Although I will say with the other party, there was a lot of sweets. It wasn't that it was difficult, but I was like, I had the thought, I wish I could have it. But then I remembered what that looks like. And speaking of sugar, I do have a live stream coming up next week for those of you that may also have or do struggle with sugar. So I'm going to pop that on the screen now. Sugar Freedom in the New Year, January 7th, 11:30 a.m. Eastern. If you want to be able to have sugar-free days, sugar-free holidays, not feel bound or chained to sugar, and be able to have the experience I had of like, for a moment that might be nice, but then I love my sugar-free life way more than my life where I was addicted to sugar. So please join for that. I do spiritual life coaching in general, for those who don't know, and I also help people with sugar freedom as part of the coaching I do. Gelato, your kryptonite, Sandy. Mine was ice cream. And I guess if I would have had daily access to Italian gelato would have been my kryptonite. Hi, J.E., welcome. Siobhan, welcome. Nice to see you. It's been a while. Yeah, for me, Donna, I totally relate. And, for those of us, for only speaking for myself, who are alcoholics, alcohol is sugar. So it totally makes sense that that can be even harder for those of us who were alcoholics in the past. So, hello, C, welcome. Yes. Donna, recovering whiskey alcoholic. Yep. So just to say it makes sense. See, that's a great question about helping kids with being no sugar. That to me is part of a bigger conversation or a different lens of a conversation that I won't be covering in the live stream. You're welcome to send me a message, if you have a question. I can do my best to send you a reply. And so, if anybody's new here and they don't follow me already here on Insight Timer, please give me a follow. It helps me to get more seen in the community and reach more people and serve and connect with more wonderful people like yourself. Thanks for all those who do follow and have followed for many years now. I'm so grateful. Or if you're new for the first time. I will be going live this Sunday for our first 2026 Sunday morning live, where we will do cards and have spirit messages. And wonderful, J.E., that you've lost the taste for it. Yeah, I know. I imagine it's kind of like, and I also am an ex-smoker of cigarettes and other things, but it's kind of like, and actually this morning I went to a coffee shop and somebody was smoking a cigarette at the table next to me, and I had to move, no mas. But yet I used to smoke a pack a day. I mean, I can't even believe it, but I used to smoke 20 cigarettes a day or more. And just like sugar, I used to eat a pint of ice cream every day plus more. And I have had drags of cigarettes. I mean, I quit in 2001. I've never smoked an entire cigarette again, thank God. But just having those first drags, it's like, ugh. But the more you do it, then you get used to it. The same with sugar. I'm sure if I had a bite of something sweet, it would be too sweet. But, you get over that. Same with a beer. Beer was my drug of choice for alcohol. I would drink many beers a day. I loved the taste. I'm sure if I were to taste beer now, I would not. So, but we get acclimated, and it's very easy to reacclimate if we had that in the past. Vaping, definitely a challenge as well. So, maybe that's something for those of you that are in the space to consider, continuing your commitment to whatever habits or addictions that you've broken or want to break or want to start in the new year. This time of year, I'm guessing that, people quit addictions and that January, February are have more numbers of people that get sober, get into recovery than other times of the year. And actually, 1 month from today is my sobriety date, in 1999, February 1st. And wow. January 1st, 1999 was not a good day for me. Oh my God, it was horrible. But I won't digress, because we have a topic here that we're covering today. So let's go ahead and get into that. It's very common, it's very normal, it's very natural, and it's totally okay that we feel we want to start new and we want to turn the page and we want to have a new year, and maybe we want to reinvent ourselves or have these resolutions. And so it's not about making any of that wrong. And I know we all probably know here, how well does that actually work in the long term? I know there may be some of you that have created resolutions that actually lasted past the month of January. So there are those people that have and can do that. And I imagine for the vast majority of us, if we do have the resolutions, they go by the wayside and are mostly forgotten, by the third week of the year. And it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with those of us who have done that. It's just, I think it's the spirit of the season and our attitude, and it feels like a quick fix energy to me, of like this bright and shiny new year energy that, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks in the new year, it's gone, in that illusion of the shiny new year is now faded, and life continues to happen. So I wonder what it would look like to kind of take from both of those energies of like, yes, new beginnings, 1/1/2026, possibility for the year, and not having these impossible bars for ourselves that then we go into like pass fail mode and beat ourselves up. So I'm going to get my phone because I want to read you all something that somebody, a client of mine, posted that I shared around already today because I think it's great. And anyway, I'll read it first. So it says, it's January ins and January outs. So January ins. Naming limits with the confidence of a man in a puffy vest. Whatever that means, but it sounds like an energy of somebody that's super confident. Naming limits with the confidence of a man in a puffy vest. Heating pads. Schedules built around your actual energy and not delusions. Letting your body be a body. Telling the truth. I am sad. I am overwhelmed. I cannot fix the printer. Hibernating. Letting January be slow and a little strange. So those are the January ins. Name which one you like the best in the comments. January outs. Pretending things will get better if you hydrate more. Forcing joy to appear on command. Efficiency as your entire personality. Forcing big epiphanies when what you need is lunch. Shame disguised as motivation. Imagining everyone else is thriving. They aren't. Burning down your whole life on January 1st to become a shinier version of yourself. Self-worth determined by a number of errands run in a day. So tell me which of the outs that you're claiming. And this, actually, what I just read is exactly like the topic for the live of changing the way we relate to ourselves with things like shiny new year and pressure and force and doing and striving, in not doing all of that. Liz, shame disguised as motivation. Yeah, that one got me as well. So if you want a copy of this, send me a message. I'll get it to you. And to me, the themes of what I just read are just not holding ourselves to impossible standards. What if that was your New Year's resolution, if you had one at all? Bringing more gentleness and kindness. Allowing yourself to be human. And also not going to the other extreme to where, okay, then that means I'm just gonna eat gelato every night on the couch and say fuck it to everything and not pay my bills and go into, the other extreme of just total self-abandonment. Right? So what is the balance here? where it's not force and pressure, but it's also self-loving. Yeah, I appreciate you saying that, Liz. Having the fuck it, self-abandonment, that's what occurs sometimes. You know, I had one of my coaching clients say something similar, and, you know, I just told them, like, look, the past is past, it's done, reset for today, because she has some goals and things that she's committed to, and it's just about, okay, like, recommitment for today, just for today, you know, one day at a time, one moment at a time. So it's about that, and also not like beating yourself up and shaming and blaming. Shame is motivation. You know, we cannot shame ourselves into change. I really want y'all to hear that. It doesn't work. If shaming ourselves to force ourselves to change worked, it would have worked decades ago. Does that make sense? I love that, Liz. Bringing an energy of devotion. Devotion, not duty. Devotion, not shooting all over ourselves. And just this idea of releasing pressure in self-pressure to try and force ourselves to change, letting go of that. You know, there's a meme that goes around with different images, but the quote is always the same. We can't shame ourselves into change. We can love ourselves into evolution. So how can you drop that pressure, that force, the expectation of, you know, some impossible standard that the mind naturally wants to set for the year, the bright and shiny new year? It's in year one, it's the year of the horse and all of that. Like, that's great. And what is the inner stance that you're interfacing with that idea with yourself? Is it that I'm not enough and I'm coming from that place of unworthy, undeserving, not enough? Or can I come from a place of I'm on my own team, I'm on my own side to the best of my ability, and yes, there's some possibility I want to open to, step into. Ooh, awesome, Wendy. Queen of Swords, that energy feels perfect for you. Actually, speaking of cards, I felt called to pull a card before the session. And many of you have been here with me, you know, most every time or many times that I go live. And look what came up again, the no card. I know some of you were with me in the past 2 or 3 lives where we've drawn cards. It's no. So the way I interpreted that is that maybe I'm not supposed to be using this deck right now. It's like, stop pulling cards from me. But I did feel to maybe bring some card messages in. Obviously, I don't think from that deck. I'm going to take a break from that deck for a while. But yeah, you know, in the spirit of this message of relating to ourselves differently this year, what if that's your New Year's resolution? How can you relate to yourself differently to where you're not managing yourself, trying to change yourself? You know, I have another client I've just begun working with a month ago, and we talked about this of being on this spiritual path it's like we have this natural mindset of like, I'm not okay where I am, so I have to do all of this spiritual work to get somewhere else so I can be different and better. And that intrinsically within that mindset is a mindset of, I'm not good enough where I am right now. So that can be really subtle, and that's what we want to let go of. And it doesn't mean we don't want to hold ourselves to a standard and do our best. So this is a subtle concept here. Yeah. And y'all that are here and hearing this are ready to hear it. We want to release being hard on ourselves. We want to release that subtle mindset of not good enough, not worthy, not deserving. So if I can lose, 10 pounds by the end of February, then I'll be enough, then I'll be okay, then I can accept, love, and approve of myself. We just want to let go of all that. And it might mean, okay, I am going to do my 20-minute yoga practice today because I love myself. Dr. Joe Dispenza says, love yourself enough to do this. So it's coming from that place where we're on our own team and we're on our own side. Yeah. So let's look at light seers. Yeah, I feel like that's kind of the message that's coming through. Is like, what would it look like for you for 2026 if you were on your own side and on your own team? Even just 2% more. What would change? What would open up for you in your inner world and your outer experience? And I want to offer all of you my powerful visioning process where we can look at that. It's a one-on-one deep dive that I do with people who have not experienced a gifted session with me before. So if these themes feel like really tugging at your heartstrings and you feel called, send me a message and we'll do that. It might be the thing that helps you shift into a different relationship with yourself in 2026, which can then create different results in your life. Yeah, Liz, I hear you. I have balance issues as well, which, speaking of, look at this card that's just on the bottom of the deck, Two of Pentacles. This is a card of coming into balance with choices, with energies. So I feel like what this means in relation to the topic for today is balancing self-love, self-acceptance, self-trust, with not having it go into extremes of forcing and pressuring and doing. And Donna, I totally can relate. I think we all can. Of just being against ourselves, being our own worst critic. And I said this just in the live yesterday I've said it often, this idea of our internal voice. The voice in your head is the voice of your primary caretaker. Like, sorry, that might be scary for some of us. And I can raise my hand there. But it's also validating. If we grew up with a excuse me, hiccups might be starting. Okay, let's breathe. If your primary caretaker's voice was less than loving to you or just in your environment, then of course you're not going to have that inner voice. It's like you don't know what you don't know. I mean, you know now because you're an adult and you're on this path. You know, if I think about my own, mother was my primary caregiver, and then I think about her mother, it's like, oh, well, it makes a lot of damn sense that, my inner voice is as critical as it is, based on my lineage and ancestry and all of that. So we just get to, you're waking up now. You're on the journey now. Okay, so let's see what else Spirit has to say about this. And doing my ancestral clearing, either in a one-on-one private session with me, or when I do it live, when I do my interactive live sessions, or just receiving the ancestral clearing prayers when I do them here in the lives every week, or listening to them in my meditations here in Insight Timer. This can really help clear these subconscious beliefs, programs, because it's not just we came into this and here we are. There's a lineage, in the past. And not to say it, not to blame, but just to notice that's where it comes from, and the ancestral clearing can be very powerful. Okay. Ooh, got some wonderful cards here. Ooh, we got some romantic love coming in. Maybe it's romantic self-love. This Knight of Cups is rushing in at the bottom of the deck. It could be actual romantic love based on another card here, or it could be self-love, or both. Yeah. And Donna, that's the journey of like our awakening. We're cycle breakers in this lifetime. And even those of us that don't have children like myself, I can still be a cycle breaker in my family. All my family are alcoholics and addicts. And I'm the only one that's had continuous long-term sobriety. I'll just say that. And I'm not saying I'm better. I'm just saying this is the path that I've been on. And yeah, just to bring understanding. So we've got the wonderful Fool card. I mean, you can't make this shit up is one of my signature sayings for a reason, because you can't make this shit up. This Fool card is the card of January 1st of a new year. It's the 0 card in tarot. It's the very first card of the entire tarot deck. It's 0, which means possibility, which means new beginnings. So, as far as how will you relate to yourself differently this year, this is what this card is meaning for you. What would it look like for you to not be in a masculine, forcing, trying, molding, pressuring way of working with yourself or on yourself? But what would it look like for you to just relax and release, surrender, trust, and allow? You can see she's looking upward to source connection. How about you co-creating with source this year? How about you turning more and more to that so that you can trust and allow life to happen and unfold. And be on your own team and be on your own side. What would you do differently if you trusted yourself, if you loved yourself a little more? She even has her eyes closed. I didn't even see that before. So we also have the Moon card. We've gotten this card recently. This is a card of the subconscious mind. You can see she is below the surface of the water, in the watery depths of the subconscious. So this can be a card of things that are hidden and unseen and unknown. So what this means is let's look at the subconscious mind. Let's open the doors to that. In the original tarot, there's like a gate that there's this white and black wolf on either side, and you're like going through. So what this is saying is, this is where the mystery is. This is where the things that are hidden, the programs that we were programmed with in childhood that we all have, create the paradigm in which we see the world and ourselves, and we can only create from within this paradigm until we don't, until we open this up and we transform. So it's about relating to this in a different way. And we talk about having a paradigm shift. What does that even mean? It means that I have a different perception on who I am and who the world is and what I think is possible for me. So then I create something differently. Self-discovery, Francis, transformation. Ooh, I love that, Wendy. Moving forward without always knowing all the answers. Ooh, perfect. And I mean, this fool doesn't know. She's falling backwards with her eyes closed, totally in a trust fall into this unknown of 2026. And you can see how the colors are so similar on these cards. So it's like, this is so cool. Falling into this water, and now she's fallen. So it's like, this is what it looks like after you fall. The moonlight is still shining down. She's still connected to the light. Yeah, it's about, this is deep mystery here. There's so much mystery. Wonderful, Geraldine. Yeah, letting go, acceptance. Now, what comes next? Remember I said the romantic piece in that card at the bottom of the deck, the Knight of Cups, card of romance. Here we have it, the Ten of Cups. The Ten of Cups is a card of complete and utter fulfillment, romantically, familially. It's like happy family, happy home, which there you can see the couple there watching their children, taking the leap of faith. Hi, Laura. Can you see it? So the Ten of Cups is totally beautiful fulfillment. And if this isn't about a romantic connection for you, then again, it's self-love. How can you be this ideal, partner to your own self? Maybe it's about you giving yourself flowers in this new year, giving yourself a gift. How can you show loving to yourself? Even in the smallest ways. It might be pausing for a glass of water. And, you know, I'm guilty of this myself, of like, I need water, like, I'm hurry and I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And then I just drink it really fast because I'm moving on to the next thing. So this can be about, how am I going to drink this wonderful glass of water? And it just takes a moment of pause, and it's the energy in which I do that. Thank you, Dina, for the donation. Welcome. Love, nourish, supporting yourself, Liz. Treating and loving yourself the way you love others, Donna. What a powerful idea. Because I know we've all heard it before. You know, if you spoke to others the way you speak to yourself, like, you wouldn't have any friends, like that sort of a thing. And like, it makes sense, but that also is shaming as well. Shame is motivation. Thank you, Laura. Glad you're here as well. And for those of you that are just joining in, I'm going to read what I read earlier because it feels even more relevant right now, and y'all can hear it again anyway. It can be helpful. So the list is January ins and January outs. January ins. Naming limits with the confidence of a man in a puffy vest. Heating pads. Schedules built around your actual energy and not delusions. Letting your body be a body. Telling the truth. I am sad. I am overwhelmed. I cannot fix the printer. Hibernating. Letting January be slow and a little strange. January outs. Pretending things will get better if you hydrate more. Forcing joy to appear on command. Efficiency as your entire personality. Forcing big epiphanies when what you need is lunch. Shame disguised as motivation. Imagining everyone else is thriving, they aren't. Burning down your whole life on January 1 to become a shinier version of yourself. Self-worth determined by a number of errands run in a day. So again, which of those resonated and stuck out to you? Donna, thank you for the donation as well. So this message, again, it's coming in, you know, depending on where you're at personally. It could actually be because you're changing your relationship with how you relate to yourself, being on your own team, being on your own side, letting yourself off the hook, while also doing your best, holding yourself to a higher standard, holding yourself in that middle ground and not the extremes. You may actually create a new romantic partner if that's what you want, or it just might be that relating to yourself and having just this happiness and joy and partnership and bliss. And that, again, might be an actual partner on the outside, or it might be you feeling at peace and love with yourself and love with your life on the inside. Thank you, 2 Donnas with 2 donations. Thank you so much. And then we've got the Ace of Pentacles. So this is bringing in the possibility of new material gains, new money, new financial opportunities. You will be handed a possibility because of this other part of this journey that we've gone on, which started with the Fool and the Moon. It's kind of like these two are together, and then might be hard to see them all. This Knight of Cups, and the Ten of Cups. And as a result of this journey, you're going to create money. Yay. Material gains. Now this is possibility. It's an ace. So it's potential. You've got to do something with it. When somebody, you will be given a potential and a possibility, but you've got to take it and do something with it. And that's going to take action on your part. So doing this work that we've shown with these other cards gives you this potential because you're raising your vibration. This, you mean, Laura, this is the Fool. Hi, Suzanne. Happy New Year. Nice to see you. Yes, the Fool card. So, yes, OMG on the Fool. We, as I said earlier, you can't make this shit up when I pulled the Fool card as the first card for this New Year's live stream. So I do feel like too, the other card that came up, it's not going to show itself again, but the Two of Pentacles showed up too earlier, and that being a card of balance. I'm seeing if I can just pull it from the deck, but it's not wanting to come. So how can you balance all of this moving into this new year? How can you be gentle, loving, balancing masculine and feminine energies? Really, I think, is the essence of it. Not forcing, not trying, not holding yourself to an impossible standard without self-love. Being receptive, turning towards yourself, loving yourself to the best of your ability in every moment, letting yourself off the hook. It's not gaslighting yourself, all of those things. And then what will you, create, which is what we went into. So if you want support on implementing all of this, bringing it deeper into form for you personally, and you haven't yet received a gifted session with me before, I invite you, if you feel the resonance and the heart's call, to send me a private message and we can schedule my gifted visioning process. It's the perfect time of year for that, and we'll really slow down on these themes that are here today as far as changing the relationship with yourself, and then that creating different outcomes for you, especially like this. This is what we all want. Every time I do this work with people in my coaching business, it's like, what do you want? Why do you want it? The why we want everything that we want, I've never heard a different answer. It's always the same. I want to feel fulfilled inside. I want to feel peace. I want to feel freedom. I want to feel joy. Wonderful, Laura, Liz. Yes, releasing the self-abandonment. And releasing the self-abandonment to abandon yourself to the love of Source. Yeah. So send a message if you feel the heart's call. So grateful for all of you, for Insight Timer, for me and my own journey. We get to pat ourselves on the back too. And that's okay. It's actually encouraged. That's what being on our own team is about. If I'm on my own side, if I'm partnering with myself, I'm gonna build myself up. So super grateful for all of you, for the Insight Timer app, for the founder and the people who run it, and this wonderful platform we have. It's been life-changing for me and so many of us. If you feel called to give a donation, thank you for all the donations that have come in. It helps me to continue on this work that I do, which I've been doing 5 years, which is crazy to me. I have been life coaching for 5 years as my primary and only career/job, which I am so grateful for. And I had to become the version of myself where that was even a possibility. And that transformation happened during COVID. And actually this is a wonderful example of what I was talking about earlier, of like this paradigm shift of we are in a paradigm, and we can only imagine possibilities within that paradigm. When I transformed deeply on the inside, new possibilities came about, which was me doing this work and being who I am in the world now. A paradigm is like a box, and it's made up of the beliefs and the programs from 0 to 8 years old. It's what it's like to be a human. We're all programmed. Our brain is not developed. The ego is not solid till we're 8. So our mind is just open to whatever is set around us. So that's the program. And then all of that creates our life until we wake up and we see we can choose differently, and we break that paradigm open. And outside of that is another realm and world of possibility. For me, getting clean and sober, that was definitely another breaking open of a paradigm. I was a hopeless alcoholic and drug addict who had to drink and use every minute of the day, and my life was completely insane and unmanageable. That was my paradigm. And it wasn't until I had a transformation in a horrible way of hitting a terrible rock bottom, which actually a big part of that was December 31st, 1998. My last drunk and high New Year's. But I hit, you can hit a bottom in like a very challenging and consequence-laden way to create transformation, or you can do it from, the light and love in easy, not easier, but more gentle or more positive way. So when I got clean and sober, it was from the depths of despair and hopelessness, and then I was willing, and I broke open into this new possibility of living as a clean and sober human, which then created new possibilities for my life. And that's how transformation in life is. We all have our examples of that in those ways. And then too, like I said, during COVID, a deeper transformation that wasn't due to hitting a bottom, just due to my soul and spirit transforming, then broke open the paradigm for me to be here now with you for 5 years and do what I do. So you're welcome, Donna. Thank you, Laura, for the donation. Thank you, Claire, also. Melinda, yes, this is being double live streamed on my YouTube channel right now. So as soon as I end the live, it will be in the live section of my channel as a live replay. You can see it there. If you need help finding that, send me a message. Yeah, great. Happy New Year. You're welcome, J.E. I will see you Sunday morning for our first Sunday morning live of the new year. You're welcome, Wendy. Syl, thank you for joining, and you're welcome. What is our story, good for, what we've overcome, if not to help lift and inspire others? So I'm quite open about everything because of that. So glad that it was helpful. Please follow me if you don't already. Give a donation if you feel the heart's call. Reach out as well. You can follow me here, find all my links to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, website, all that good stuff if you care to. You are so welcome, Laura. Wonderful. I'm so glad to bring in the new year with all of you. Have a wonderful remainder of your day, wherever you are in the world, and I will see you all very soon on Sunday. Much love and namaste. Thank you, Roxy. Bye-bye.